Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. The chamber was vast and cold, its metallic walls lined with alien glyphs glowing faintly in shades of blue. Captain Elias Grayson stood tall in the center, the sole human in a room filled with Calther Dominion warlords. Their predatory gazes bore into him, their elongated forms bristling with hostility. Yet Grayson, clad in Earth's formal diplomatic attire, radiated calm confidence. "We are not here to beg," he began, his voice steady. "Earth seeks peace, but we will not surrender our sovereignty." Overlord Malker, the largest and most imposing of the Calther, leaned forward, his claws scraping against the stone table. "Peace?" he sneered, his voice a guttural growl. "You speak of peace while your species spreads like a plague, colonizing worlds that were never yours to take." Grayson met the alien's glare without flinching. "Humanity has expanded, yes, but only into unclaimed systems. We've honored every treaty, avoided every provocation. Your fear of us is not our fault." The room fell silent, save for the low hum of the Calther's breathing. Grayson had expected hostility, but the intensity of their disdain was palpable. These creatures, once dominant in this sector of the galaxy, now saw humanity as a threat, a younger, hungrier species outpacing them. "You speak boldly for one so fragile," Malker hissed, his mandibles clicking in irritation. "Your kind lacks the strength to back such arrogance." Grayson allowed himself a faint smile. "Strength isn't measured by physical power alone. Humanity has thrived because of our resilience, our ingenuity, and," his gaze swept the room, "our refusal to bow to bullies." The statement hung in the air like a drawn blade. Several Calther warlords growled, their anger barely restrained. Malker's eyes narrowed. "Careful, human. Words like that can end negotiations." Grayson took a deliberate step forward. "Negotiations end when both sides refuse to listen. I'm here to offer coexistence. Reject it, and you'll face the consequences of your own arrogance." The tension in the room reached a breaking point. A younger warlord slammed a clawed fist onto the table. "Enough of this insolence. The human dares to—" Malker silenced him with a raised hand. His gaze never left Grayson. "You're bold, I'll grant you that. But boldness won't save your kind. Humanity is an upstart species, and upstarts must be reminded of their place." Grayson straightened, his expression unwavering. "If that's the path you choose, Overlord, know this. Earth will not kneel. We've faced extinction before and emerged stronger. If you think your threats will break us, you've gravely underestimated humanity." For a moment, the room was utterly still. Then Malker's lips curled into a chilling smile. "We shall see, Diplomat." As Grayson left the chamber under heavy guard, he knew the Calther would never accept peace. But he also knew Earth would not back down. The gauntlet had been thrown, and the galaxy would soon learn what humanity was capable of. The air was thick with the acrid stench of burning fuel, the flickering light of the execution pyre casting jagged shadows on the assembled crowd. Captain Elias Grayson, stripped of his formal attire and bound in chains, stood tall despite the brutal bruises marking his body. The Calther had made sure to broadcast the event across the galaxy, a cruel spectacle meant to terrify humanity and assert their dominance. "Human," Overlord Malker's voice boomed through the square, amplified by alien technology. "You dared to defy the Calther Dominion, to insult our supremacy. Your death will serve as a warning to all who think they can challenge us." Grayson, bloody but unbroken, raised his head. His piercing gaze locked onto Malker, unwavering in its defiance. "You can kill me, but you will never silence humanity. Every flame you light here will ignite 10,000 more. And when Earth comes for you, remember this moment, remember who struck the match." The crowd of Calther warriors growled in unison, a guttural chorus of disdain. Yet, for the briefest moment, a flicker of uncertainty crossed Malker's face. Grayson's words carried a weight he could not ignore, but his pride and his need to solidify control demanded no hesitation. "Enough!" Malker snapped, gesturing to his soldiers. "Begin." The pyre's flames roared to life, casting a searing heat that made the gathered aliens step back. Grayson was forced onto the platform, his chain securing him to a metal post. He did not flinch, even as the heat began to scorch his skin. Instead, he looked upward, as if searching the stars for solace. The camera drone zoomed in, broadcasting every agonizing detail. Across the galaxy, billions watched as humanity's Diplomat faced its end. On Earth, silence fell as citizens and leaders alike bore witness to the atrocity. As the flames licked higher, Grayson's voice rang out, strong and unyielding. "Humanity will never kneel." His words echoed through the alien square, defiant and unbroken, even as the fire consumed him. Malker watched, his satisfaction tempered by unease. Grayson had not screamed, had not begged. Instead, he had turned his death into a symbol of resistance. When the flames finally subsided, only ash and a blackened post remained. But the Calther had made a grave mistake. What was meant to be a display of dominance had become a rallying cry for humanity. On Earth, the president of the Global Defense Council, General Marcus Steele, turned off the transmission with a trembling hand. His eyes, hardened by years of war, burned with fury. "They've gone too far," he said, his voice a low growl. "Prepare the fleet. It's time the galaxy learned what happens when you cross Earth." The room erupted into action. Earth's leaders and military commanders moved with grim determination, their fury united by one goal: vengeance. Humanity would not be cowed. The Calther Dominion would pay. The war had begun. The dark void of space burned with the fury of Earth's retribution. Entire fleets of sleek, owl-driven human warships emerged from hyperspace, their hulls glinting under the distant light of Calther suns. At their helm stood Commander Adrian Locke, Earth's most brilliant military strategist, a man whose stoic demeanor concealed a mind honed for precision and devastation. "Target all Calther outposts in the system," Locke ordered, his voice cold and measured. No mercy. They forfeited that when they burned Grayson alive. On the bridge of the flagship Vindication, Locke watched the tactical holograms unfold. Earth's forces moved with ruthless efficiency, overwhelming Calther defenses in coordinated strikes. The Dominion, once a symbol of terror across the galaxy, was now crumbling under the weight of humanity's wrath. The OWL system Erebus, integrated into the fleet, spoke in a monotone yet authoritative voice. Enemy orbital defenses neutralized. Probability of counterattack reduced to 8.3%. Locke nodded. "Begin the ground assaults. Focus on their key infrastructure communication hubs, weapons factories. Disable, don't obliterate. We want them alive long enough to understand their defeat." The Calther scrambled to respond, their warships deploying in disorganized clusters, but their technology and tactics were no match for humanity's advancements. On a secondary monitor, Locke observed one of Earth's Phantom-class stealth ships, invisible to Calther sensors, infiltrate the Dominion's command station. Within minutes, the structure imploded, silencing their fleet coordinators. The bridge crew cheered as the Calther fleet began to retreat, their flagship limping under the relentless bombardment of Earth's firepower. But Locke raised a hand to silence the celebration. "This isn't about victory," he said, his tone grim. "This is about sending a message. They didn't just kill one man, they tried to break us. And now, they'll learn what happens when humanity refuses to break." The operation's apex came when the Vindication reached the Calther homeworld. The once proud capital planet was now a battlefield. Swarms of Earth's drones descended through the atmosphere, striking with surgical precision. Calther cities fell silent as their power grids collapsed and their armies were routed. In the midst of the chaos, Locke received a direct transmission from Overlord Malker himself. The alien leader's face, once smug and full of disdain, now bore the weight of desperation. "Human, cease your assault. We yield." Locke's expression didn't change. Yielding won't erase what you've done. This isn't over until the galaxy understands that Earth is not to be trifled with. With a sharp gesture, he ended the transmission and gave the final order. Secure the planet. Capture Malker alive. The galaxy needs to see him answer for his crimes. As the Calther homeworld fell, Locke turned to his crew. Grayson's death was meant to intimidate us. Instead, it's become our rallying cry. This isn't just vengeance, it's justice. The stars outside burned with humanity's fury, and the galaxy watched in awe and terror. The final reckoning was near. The Calther homeworld lay in ruins, its cities smoldering under the weight of Earth's unrelenting campaign. What remained of their forces had been subdued or scattered, and the once mighty Dominion was no more. Overlord Malker stood in chains aboard the Vindication, his towering frame diminished under the unflinching gaze of Commander Adrian Locke. Locke stepped forward, his steel-gray eyes locked on the defeated alien leader. "You thought killing one man would shatter humanity," he said, his voice as cold as the void. "But you didn't break us. You united us. And now, your arrogance has brought your entire empire to its knees." Malker snarled, his mandibles clicking in defiance. "You may have won this battle, human, but your brutality will sow seeds of rebellion across the galaxy. The Calther will rise again." Locke's lips curled into a grim smile. "Perhaps, but not under your leadership." He turned to the guards. "Take him to Earth. He'll stand trial before the Galactic Council. The galaxy must see justice done." As the guards dragged Malker away, Locke turned back to the viewport, where Earth's fleet hovered over the broken planet. Behind him, General Marcus Steele's hologram flickered to life. "The operation is complete," Steele said, his tone heavy with the weight of victory. "The galaxy is watching. What's our next move?" Locke didn't hesitate. "We rebuild. Not just for us, but for every species the Calther terrorized. Let them see that humanity isn't just a force of destruction. We're builders, protectors, and when provoked, avengers." The transmission ended, leaving Locke alone with his thoughts. His mind wandered to Captain Elias Grayson, the diplomat whose sacrifice had ignited this war. Grayson's voice still echoed in his memory. "Humanity will never kneel." A week later, the Galactic Council convened on Earth, its chambers filled with representatives from dozens of alien species. At the center stood Malker, his once imposing presence now a shadow of its former self. Evidence of his war crimes played on massive screens. Scenes of oppression, conquest, and finally, Grayson's execution. When the tribunal declared him guilty, a wave of vindication swept through the crowd. Justice had been served, not just for humanity, but for the galaxy at large. Outside the council chambers, a massive crowd gathered before a newly erected monument. Towering over the plaza, it depicted Elias Grayson, standing tall and resolute, his hand extended as if offering peace. The inscription below read, "In defiance, we found unity. In sacrifice, we found strength. Humanity will never kneel." Locke stood beside General Steele, gazing at the monument. "They'll remember him for generations," Locke said quietly. "He was the spark that lit the fire." Steele nodded, his voice filled with determination. "And that fire will burn brightly, ensuring no one ever dares threaten Earth again." As the crowd cheered and the monument gleamed under the sunlight, humanity's message was clear. Earth was no longer just another species in the galaxy. It was a force to be reckoned with, and those who underestimated it would pay the price.